Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are happy, healthy, and safe at home. We know this situation is really tough as we have never been cooped up like this before. But it doesn't matter where we are and what the situation is. What matters is that we are still interacting with each other and we are learning something new every day. And it all became possible just because of your efforts and cooperation. So please keep extending it. And let's start with the poem, The Labanam Top, from the book Hornbill. But before starting the poem, it's very important to acknowledge the poet who wrote this beautiful poem for all of us, Ted Hughes. Let's start the poem with the introduction of the poet. Poem The Laburnum Top from the book Hornbill by Ted Hughes. Edward James Ted Hughes. Edward James Ted Hughes was a modern English poet, and critics ranked him as one of the best poets of the period. Among the important poets of the latter half of the 20th century, Ted Hughes' special contribution to English poetry lies in the creation of a poetic world with a central interest in wild animals and birds. Every image of his poems conveys a unique message to the readers. Ted's biography reveals that he very closely experienced animals' nature. He always started his poem by illustrating simple image of an animal and then thematically explained his subject through technique of symbolism. He also used animals as metaphors in order to make his subject clear. Every poem of Ted Hughes is a skillful interpretation of animal imagery with the combination of symbolism. Now, your first task from the poem is to find out more information about Ted Hughes, which I did not mention, and you need not write 1 or 2 pages, just add 2 or 3 points. Now, before reading the explanation of the poem line by line, let's recite the whole poem loudly. Be honest to yourself and recite with me. The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes. The laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen, till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirp, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up of chittering and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She strokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. Then with eerie, delicate whistle chop whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Now read the poem silently. It will just take 1 minute. Start reading. I hope everybody has read. While reading the poem, have you observed the poem does not follow any rhyme scheme? Just see the first line ending with the word still, the second with the sunlight, and the third with the fallen, and fourth with the chirp. The words do not follow any rhyme scheme, they do not rhyme with each other. So, such poems which do not follow any rhyme scheme are called free verse poems. Students, let us begin with the poem now. The laburnum top is silent, quite still in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. The poet starts the poem with the description of the laburnum tree, which is standing still and silent. Its yellow flowers appears to be in harmony with the yellow sunlight in the afternoon of the September month. With the onset of the autumn season, its leaves start yellowing and its seeds are scattered. In the poem, the poet has used the two images, the laburnum top, which is a symbol of peace and serenity, which is an integral part of the nature, and another, yellow September, leaves yellowing, which are symbolic of the autumn and passing age, which brings in its wake decay and loneliness. Please write side by side which are the images the poet has used and what are they symbolic of. The poet has created a special sound effect with the help of alliteration in the first line. The laburnum top is silent, quite still, with the repetition of the sound SS, silent, still. And another is the laburnum top is silent. Here the figure of speech personification is used. I hope you all are aware of what is personification. It is when a thing or abstraction is represented as a person. Please note down side by side the images, their symbolic meaning, and the figure of speech being used in the poem. It's very important. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirp, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up of chittering and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The death-like tree, which is standing still and silent, suddenly becomes alive with the arrival of the goldfinch, which comes and perches at a branch end with a twitching chirp. Twitching means sudden jerk movement and chirp means repeated high-pitched sound of the bird. With a startled look on her face, having made sure that she is safe and secure, the goldfinch cautiously sneaks into the thickness of the tree, just as a lizard nimbly passes through a narrow slit. Then there was a sudden commotion as she feeds her young ones in the nest, and often such a commotion created by machines when operated. The whole tree seems to tremble and resound with the twittering of the baby birds and the sound of their wings flapping as they grab food. Now please note down the figure of speech used in the second stanza. First one is, then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness. Sleek as a lizard here is a simile, as an explicit comparison between the goldfinch and a lizard is made. And next is machine starts up of chitterings. It is a metaphor, as the goldfinch family is compared to a machine. Metaphor is any far-fetched comparison which is made without the use of the word like and as. Just for example, here the machine starts up of chitterings. They didn't use the word like or as in between. And some more examples are the snowflakes are the dancers. I didn't say the snowflakes are like the dancers. And the calm lake is a mirror, not like a mirror or as a mirror. And your eyes are lake. I'm not saying your eyes are like lake. So such comparisons which are made without the use of the word like and as are called metaphors. The third figure of speech used in the second extract is, the whole tree trembles and thrills. Here the tree is personified, so the figure of speech personification is used. In the same line, the whole tree trembles. The repetition of the sound TT, so the figure of speech alliteration is used here. In the first and the second stanza, the poet shown us completely opposite images of the tree. In the first stanza, he describes a tree as death-like, silent and still, and in the second stanza, He describes how a little bird awakens the quiet and sleepy laburnum tree and makes it alive. Let's go through the vocabulary from the first and the second extract. Please note down the vocabulary in your fair registers. Now let's start with the third extract. It is the engine of our family. Here, the goldfinch is the engine of our family. As the engine provides working efficiency to the machines, similarly, the bird goldfinch also provides food as an engine to her young ones to nourish them and feed them for their growth. She stalks it full, then flirts out to a branch end. This expression refers to the goldfinch feeding her young ones. She feeds them till their hunger is satisfied. Having fed her family to their fill, she again sneaks out to a branch end. Showing her barred face identity mask, the two explanations can be given of this line. The first one is the laburnum tree has cluster of flowers which hang like bars. Thus, the goldfinch hidden behind these bars looks as if standing behind it. And there is one another explanation of the line is that the goldfinch has yellow bars on its face and wings which act as its identification. After she perches on the laburnum tree with food in her beak, she hops closer to her nest where her baby chicks are waiting for her. As she looks into the nest from the edge, her baby birds recognize her face and start chirping and opening their tiny beak for food. So the word barred is used for both the bars on the bird's face and the wings and the hanging flowers. Now note down the figures of speech used in the third extract. The first one is metaphor. In the line, it is the engine of our family. The goldfinch is compared to an engine. Just see, there is no use of like and as, like it is not written, it is like an engine of our family. It is directly said it is the engine of our family. And the next is showing her barred face identity mask. Here the barred face of the bird is compared to an identity mask. So it is again metaphor. From the same line, it is transferred epithet also. As a transferred epithet, you might be not aware of this figure of speech. Transferred epithet is an adjective which is not used with the noun it qualifies, but with another noun. Just for example, her barred face identity mask. The flowers of the laburnum plant are barred, like the hanging flowers. They are like bar. The flowers of the laburnum plant are barred, but here it is placed before the bird's face. Barred is actually an adjective for the flowers and has been transferred from there and applied to the bird. That's why it is transferred epithet. Vocabulary from the third and the fourth extract. Let's read out the last extract. Eerie, delicate whistle. This expression refers to the gentle and soft sound made by the goldfinch. Having accomplished her task of feeding her young ones, there is a feeling of motherly satisfaction as expressed by the soft whistle before she flies towards the sky. In the last line of the extract, the poet creates an image of lifelessness, emptiness, and hollowness. The laburnum tree, which is abuzz with the activity and becomes alive with the arrival of the goldfinch, returns to its silence once the bird, which is symbolic of life and liveliness, departs. Summary of the poem The Laburnum Top. The poem begins with the description of the laburnum top, On a September afternoon, the tree stands silent and still. The leaves of the tree have started turning yellow and the seeds have already fallen. The scene depicts the season of autumn. The silence of the tree is broken with the sudden arrival of the goldfinch. The bird arrives at the end of the branch with a chirp, then she abruptly enters the thickness of the branches just like a lizard. As she arrives, it seems as if a machine has started up, as the young ones of the goldfinch are filled with the excitement and start creating noise on the arrival of their mother. They start chirping and fluttering their wings. With their chirps and movements, the whole tree comes alive and it trembles and thrills. Then the angel of the family, the goldfinch, feeds her young ones until their hunger is satisfied. After feeding them, she comes to a branch end, showing her barred face. Finally, with a whistle chirp, she flies towards the vast sky, leaving the tree once again calm and quiet. I hope you all have understood the poem. Now just ask yourself, can I explain the poem line by line to myself? If yes, then it is excellent. If not, please go back and listen to the audios again. Till then, take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe, and keep learning.